I tried to cover a couple positive topics lately, but this level of corruption cannot be ignored. The mainstream media, as of recording this video, has not put out one single video on any of the networks that I could find about this topic, and the government is literally shut down. Trudeau, as we know, is already a horrible prime minister, filled with controversies, all of these things, and now this new corruption story, which is crazy, might finally put the nail in his coffin as being absolutely the most corrupt prime minister in the history of Canada. It's becoming irrefutable watching the disgusting behavior coming out of his cabinet, everything that his ministers are a part of, and we are watching these liberal governments and everybody involved with it just steal and take on their way out because they know they're going to lose. They've been running these environmental scams, these green slush funds, all of these things, and it's all to line their own pockets. It is so frustrating to see. We're going to cover a bit of those topics today. We've got some updates because they did shut down the government because they won't show the documents. Let's get into it.
Years, Justin Trudeau has shown that he's not worth the cost or the corruption. The Speaker has just recently ruled that all House business, all government business must be put aside while members of Parliament consider Liberal corruption. First, we had the case of the Green Slush Fund, the SDTC Fund, where the Auditor General found over $330 million funneled to Liberal insiders' own businesses. She found massive conflicts of interest. Basically, these Liberal-appointed board members who made the decision as to which companies got money, taxpayers' money, from this fund, were funneling that money to their own businesses or to the businesses of their close friends. So the Auditor General has blown the whistle on that, yet the government refuses to hand over the documents to the RCMP. The House of Commons passed a production order demanding that all documents, all information that the Auditor General uncovered, plus any documents that might exist in any government department related to this scandal, be handed over to the RCMP. The government...
Okay, here's why this is a piss up. I'm sure some of you guys have seen this video already, but people haven't got into this level of context with it yet. I know that. I haven't seen anything about it. But the problem is we keep passing the buck. The government, the government, the government. We need names attached to it. You have to single out individuals. If you don't single out individuals, even Andrew Scheer, who's trying to do the right thing here, the government won't give us the documents. Who is the government that is needing to provide these documents? Because there has to be somebody who has access, and it would be their job. Is it the Minister of Environment? Is he going to do it? You know, is it the Minister of Finance? Who is actually responsible for bringing those documents over and putting them out? Call them out by name. That's how this gets solved. But isn't it amazing how, you know, these green slush funds exist and, you know, all the climate crisis and, you know, we got to step forward with Canada and be climate leaders and all this stuff. It doesn't have anything to do with me wanting to give my own company $200 million. The conflict of interest on this, like every time you see a story like this, it's like, oh yeah, climate change is real. It's so dangerous, all these other things. But everybody involved with it is scamming a ton of money out of it. So I don't know.
Is refusing. And as a result, the House will be seized with this corruption matter until they hand over the documents. And then we have the case of the other Randy, where a senior Trudeau minister is alleged to have been sitting around the cabinet table while also involved in his own business's affairs. His business partner was summoned before a committee and refused to disclose all the information, refused to name who the other Randy is, refused to hand over all the documents and answer the questions that were put to him. And as a result, the House is seized with that motion as well. So what we're saying today is that the government will not be able to, the House will be staying on these corruption matters until the Liberals hand over all the documents to the RCMP. While Canadians are suffering with the cost of living crisis that Justin Trudeau caused with his runaway inflation, while millions of Canadians are visiting a food bank for the first time and young Canadians are giving up on the dream of home ownership as housing costs have doubled under the NDP Liberal government, it's clear once again that the Liberals will always stop and enrich their friends while they impoverish Canadians.
The Liberals, as they currently exist, have to be one of the most elitist trash parties I've ever seen. pretend to help, line their own pockets. But guys, can we just take a second and remember that there are 11 members of parliament who are alleged to be working on behalf of foreign governments? That's 11 people who are foreign government agents, allegedly, in our legislative assembly who are there on behalf of foreign governments. We're not like, this is the level of corruption we're dealing with. I want to focus on, I don't want to go make Canada great again. I want to go, how do we fix Canada now, right? We need to fix Canada now. We need absolutely massive foundational changes between the amount of international money laundering that comes to Canada, the real estate problems. Guys, I'm a real estate agent. Obviously, you know that. So I see, all the problems with focusing on just real estate as an asset class and just using that as how we're building our foundation on top of all the immigration stuff. Like all of these things going on, and we have these crazy levels of corruption that is just going to continue if Trudeau stays in. So every day he's in there, it's worse and worse. But like the amount of incompetence, because if you guys remember a few videos ago, I said, hey, should we talk about this green slush fund? And now it's a blowing up huge story. I wish I would have talked about it before. And even with the updates on this, it's nuts. So here was another clip from what they were talking to the committee who's supposed to be recovering some of these funds. And remember, guys, the old Canadian controversy used to be $19 glasses of orange juice. That's the money we were talking. Now we are talking $330 million approved in conflict of interest cases, $60 million for ineligible projects, $220K to her own company. Like, how can we have this where people are paying themselves directly? Like, I'm in charge of divvying up the money and my own company gets $220K. Also, all these other people, like our government has never been bigger than it currently is. We have a minister of gender ideology. She needs to be fired day one. I'm saying this right now, guys. If Pierre gets in, hopefully, obviously we want him to get in. If he gets in and he keeps the minister of gender ideology, which was added by Trudeau, then Pierre's a loser. I'm sorry. That role needs to be cut day one. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. So seeing that, this level of government bloat, the amount of government jobs that have been added during this last 10 years, our public sector is the only sector that's hiring, and they're saying it's growing the economy, but it's not. It's not growing anything with the economy because it's parasitic. It's paid from taxpayer dollars. What's going to happen? More taxes are going to be needed, and it's all for this government bureaucracy. Look at these incompetent fools. Like, look at this lady trying to answer this question. Well, what's going on with the money? They're saying, hey, what's going on? Have you recovered any of this illegal money that was sent, a $60 million in government money that was ineligible? Have you recovered any of this? Look at this.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Ms. Doyle, I take it from your testimony that not 1 cent of money that improperly went out the door at the Green Slush Fund has been recovered in the 4 months that the interim board has been in place. Is that correct?
We have a process in place to review every single project on an individual basis.
I understand you have a process in place. You've explained that. And my question is just to confirm that at present, not 1 cent has actually been recovered.
Now, there's a process underway now.
Thank you. So not 1 cent has been recovered. Thank you.
They just refuse to answer questions ever. And it's so crazy that they just keep getting away with it. And it's because you've seen anytime they actually get caught breaking the rules, breaking the law, the punishment is, did you see that stupid German idiot who's in front of the ethics committee? Well, what's the punishment for this MP? I think the worst things that they could get is exposure. It would hurt their reputation. And yes, we can make sure that the name gets out there and they would be so embarrassed. And it's like, yeah, they're going to be embarrassed. Yeah, they just made $10 million, but they're going to be embarrassed. Okay, sure. Because we got another update. Like, even after he made that announcement, they refused again to release the documents. Like, if this was a criminal case, which it is, and these were private members, and the police came and they're like, we need this evidence, and you're like, no, they'd be like, okay, well, you have to provide us the evidence. That's illegal if you hide the evidence. So, knowing that they're hiding the evidence, probably tampering with it, allegedly, that, and the fact that the RCMP is like, oh, I don't know, I guess we'll just wait. And then it's great. Let's get serious for a second. Everybody who's watching, Canada is not done. Canada has tons of opportunity. We have great people. And I'm talking about real Canadians, not the people who've been pumped in for the last 5 years pretending to be Canadian, or not even pretending, just saying they're here. So we have the opportunity. The only way that we are going to be able to fix this level of disgust and corruption is if we need to start focusing at the local level and start building communities. We need to encourage family units to be built, have kids, build Canadian communities again so that we feel more comfortable holding these freaking disaster artists accountable for what they're doing. And then we need to focus on bringing business back to Canada, not just our financial services industries. Obviously, I can't solve everything in this video, but all the oligopolies and the monopolies and everything that Canada has, it's anti-competition. Fundamentally, there are so many things that have been broken for years, even before Trudeau, but got way worse under Trudeau. We can fix them, and that's what I'm going to be focusing more on as we talk about in the channel. I want to focus on stuff that is good, stuff that we can impact, stuff that we can help as Canadians. I want to feature business stuff. I'm still going to be covering some politics stuff. I'm still going to be covering that stuff, but I really want to say, how can we start to fix Canada? How can we start to build Canada? And it's going to be, we need to control our own lives at the local level, create more powerful local communities so that we can just ignore these boneheads in the federal government. So thank you. If you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. You absolutely rock. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a great rest of your day.